In today's economy, cash flow is tight, and families are held captive to high interest rate credit card debt. Churchill Mortgage can restructure your current mortgage and significantly reduce these problems. Get a free analysis and learn how to eliminate credit card interest rates, lower bills, and start taking control of your budget. Get started at churchillmortgage.com. This is a paid advertisement. NMLS ID 1591. NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender. 1749 Mallory Lane, Suite 100, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027.
Come unwrap some holiday magic this season in Denver, where the lights are brighter and the shopping is grander, where the season feels a whole lot more wonderful. Discover great hotels and more things to do at milehighholidays.com.
In times of old, in times of new, there's a God to follow to make it true. It's the Pop Culture Field Manual.
All right, everybody, welcome back to a special bonus chapter of the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast. We just can't stop talking, so all the extra crap that we can't get into a regular episode, we put into these extra episodes, and you have to listen to it.
The crappity crap that we just have to shove somewhere.
Watch your language, sir.
Okay,
all right,
sorry.
that was as harsh as I can get.
Okay, my bad. I know this is your bonus chapter,
Yes.
and I'm going to go ahead and hand the mic over and let
thanks.
you just talk your piece, man.
Feel free to ask questions.
Interrupt.
And stuff like it.
Okay, what were you saying?
Ladies and gentlemen, I remember when I was a little kid, my sister was a very bad influence on me.
As
when
sisters are.
As was often the case when I was young. My sister's 10 years older than me, so when I was like 6,
Oh, wow.
I was like 16. So that was perfect babysitting age. So like my parents would go out, and she'd be like,
You puff this cigarette, kid.
She'd have to babysit me.
Yeah.
And yeah, she totally like she would watch any and everything. Not that my parents were much better at the time. Like my mom let me and my brother watch Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
and she's like, as long as there's no boobs in it, that was the rule. No
That's
sexual
weird.
stuff. You know?
Like these little flabs of fat. Some little, some not so little. But little flabs of fat on your chest seem to be just like the X.
verboten.
Yeah, but hey, you can see, war crimes.
You can see a head getting exploded.
Yeah.
And a guy's arms getting chewed off by an alien chest monster.
Yeah, video games don't cause school shootings.
No. Boobs do.
Boobs do.
But anyway, I remember seeing what we're going to talk about today, which is the 1982 John Carpenter's The Thing monster movie.
Great movie.
I remember seeing. She's the one who showed it to me originally. I remember it was late at night and we were watching it, and like all this stuff started going down, and I'm like, and I she didn't even say anything. I remember
Horrible movie
this
to
was-
just expose to a child.
But it was fascinating, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like I watched all that stuff, like Aliens and all that kind of stuff when I was a kid, and it's changed the course of my life and brought me here to this table with you today.
Oh wow!
to
Well,
talk about
thank
it.
you, John Carpenter. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Thank you for. I'm going to send this to her, and she's going to be very proud. She's like, I was a good influence.
Perfect.
But this is one of those movies that I was exposed to when I was a kid, and it's changed the course of like what I'm interested in and pop culture and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a classic. And I remember the trivia about this thing is, John Carpenter, when it first came out, it was a box office bomb. The critics hated it and stuff, and he took it pretty hard, I heard. But it's since become a cult classic, and it's been reevaluated, and people really, really do enjoy it. For those unfamiliar, The Thing, 1982, it's funny. I feel like I'm like unfamiliar, even like kids that weren't around then. Like the internet's around, and I'm sure a lot of them have already seen it. Maybe they're like me, maybe they're like 5 or 6 years old and they've already seen it. But like Antarctica, American like research station,
Bunch of scientists out in the snow.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dudes just hanging out in the snow by themselves. But there's like basically it's like an alien presence that can like mimic other beings, right?
Yeah.
So the whole point of the movie is that throughout the course of the film, you don't know who is infected and who is not. You know, very pertinent, very prominent today.
It is.
Very paranoia sets in. Everybody turns on each other.
It does, because they're like, "Are you infected?"
Yeah, it's current events. They have to start showing each other their papers to go into different rooms.
Yeah.
No. But it's like the
Are you
special
vaccinated?
effects. Are you vaccinated? Are you infected by the alien presence? But like it's Kurt Russell
Classic.
playing R.J. McCready, He's the main character. It's got a great cast. Wilford Brimley, which is like nobody's going to remember all the old oatmeal commercials that he used to do.
Oh my God, you just aged yourself, man. Oatmeal.
Oh, it's okay. They're all the commercials are on YouTube, so you're going to be able to find it. But
Perfect.
The special effects, like it's an alien monster, so it mimics a little bit of everything. So when it kind of comes out and exposes itself, like
it's an abomination.
It's an abomination of all these different kind of creatures that it's assimilated over its life, but thousands of years. So all practical effects, which is amazing. You know, you look back on them and they still hold
look
up
great
today. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that drew me into the thing, because I mean, I've mentioned previously multiple times that like movie makeup and FX is like my jam, right? I used to watch Face Off all the time, and I love what actual makeup and creature creation they can do in movies. And The Thing like set the standard because it looked so good and it was so terrifying. Like it came right out of a nightmare, and they were able to make it work. And I actually watched the film with my girlfriend.
Had she seen it before?
No. Sydney hasn't even seen Star Wars, so she hasn't seen Jack. So I'll like put on a movie and I have to like convince her. She's like, "Oh, it's not made in like 2019. I don't want to watch it." And but I was like, "Sit down and watch this because you're gonna love it." She hated it, of course, but I had the pleasure of reliving it, and no, it was great. I was like, "Oh my God, this could." I was like, "This still stands. One of the greatest monster films."
I like it. I mean, I like it for a lot of reasons. The practical effects and things like that. I obviously seeing it as a kid, sometimes you see something and you just become so biased because it's like you have this memory attached to it from this time in your life. But it's dark. It's pretty bleak. You know, it's pretty creative. All the characters like have their own opinions and stuff like that, and there's a lot of conflict that's caused there. And the whole thing, it doesn't fill in all the blanks because there are parts of the movie where you don't know who is who, and there's a couple of head fake moments. Like there's this moment where Kurt Russell's character, there's a guy, the dog, caretaker guy, he has a knife behind his back, and they're all suspicious of McCready's got a gun and stuff. And he goes for him, and McCready shoots him in the head and kills him. And then they do the whole blood test thing later on.
And he's not infected, right?
He's like this, which makes you a murderer.
Yeah.
Keith David?
Something like that.
Keith David was one of the guys in there. He's great too. Childs. I think probably my favorite, the favorite part out of all of it is the part where the guy, they're fighting each other, and one guy gets knocked down and he looks like he has a heart attack, and they're like, "Oh no," they get him on the table, and
they start doing chest compressions,
and he has the paddle from the
defibrillator.
Yeah, and he goes down on it, and his hands go right through the chest opens up, and then these teeth clamp down on the guy's arms and bite him off. And he rips him off, and he's just got these bloody stones. And I think that actually, as the story goes, they actually got an amputee to do that so they could have a guy with no arms with blood spurting out.
Perfect.
Stuff. They actually cut somebody's arms off for this movie. It got banned in 17 nations. No,
exactly. Put it on the list.
Yeah, but that's that just characterizes the whole film.
That's funny because I was gonna obviously step on you and tell you my favorite scene from the movie, and that was exactly my favorite. Yeah, that was my favorite scene. I mean, you have the beginning when the first alien basically takes the form of the dog.
Yes,
and that's always a sad thing when animals are hurt in movies, and you hear all the animals going, or all the sled dogs going crazy because this freaking. One of the dogs is losing its mind, and its jaws getting warped, and all of a sudden it grows spider legs out of it.
The dogs are biting on the fence.
Yeah, they're trying to get out.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's. I mean, the practical effects. I keep going back to that, but it's so good.
Yeah,
it's such a good practical effect. Or when they decapitate the head of the guy, and the alien's still alive, and the spider legs come out of the guy's head, and there's just this head with spider legs moving around and trying to avoid the guys from being seen, and they see it in the hallway, and they're like, "What the God?"
He's like, "You gotta be freaking kidding me!"
And then they just torch it.
Yeah,
dude, that movie's awesome. There's so many scenes from that movie. It's almost hard not to just sit here and just talk about every scene from the entire movie, because every experience they have with the creature is almost tops the last one.
Yeah. So, every what is it? Oh man, I'm looking right now to see who the special effects guy was. But I remember the special effects guy, Jim Alper. Maybe? No, that's different. I'm looking on the IMDb right now. But anyway, the main special effect, I remember he was a really young dude and he was like overworked. He was like working 24 hours a day. And, but he came up with some of the stuff that I hope he knows that like later on his stuff was completely validated. Because at the time, critics said, oh, it looks fake. Looks weird.
Of course it looks fake. You can't do that.
That doesn't look like the real alien that I've seen before that imitates people, But man, yeah, just really great special effects. And it ends kind of like, spoilers, everybody's been out for 30 years. 30, 40 plus
Sorry.
years. But like, at the end, it's kind of a downer ending, where he finally sees the thing, it reveals itself, he blows it up with dynamite, the whole base goes up, and it's just fire everywhere. And he's kind of sitting there. And then Childs comes in at the end. He disappeared earlier in the film, and he comes back. And McCready's like, where were you? And he's like, I thought I saw somebody else. I got lost in the snow.
Yeah.
And so they're both sitting there. He's like, maybe you're it. Well, maybe you're in fact. He's like, well, look, if any of us have any surprises for each other now, I don't think any of us has anything to do about, has enough energy to do anything about it,
Yeah, because the whole point, one of the big key things is they're in Antarctica and this giant snowstorm happens, so they're kind of stuck inside, right?
Yep.
So, and the whole point of the alien is trying to build a ship.
Yeah.
To escape, to escape.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They find that one of the guys they locked away
is building the
Wilford
ship.
Brimley. Yeah, he was building a ship underneath the thing.
He's the dock, right?
He's the dock.
Yeah.
And they they blow that up. They actually, one of the parts we forgot to mention is when they go and they actually see the ship.
Yeah, underneath in this he basically dug into the snow and created this bunker where he's building this mini, really cheap looking UFO out of Home Depot parts.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's the entire movie. I think it's you were right. There are some spots in that movie where you're just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when something starts happening, it really happens.
Yeah.
It really happens super fast and in your face. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that kind of gas pedal brake approach to the movie, but
it's kind of, at the very end they do defeat it, but then they're both gonna die. They're like, well, maybe we'll just hang out for a little while, see what happens,
and just watch the flames.
They're just drinking alcohol.
Keep their body warm.
Yeah, just gonna maybe just freeze to death because they know there's no way that this thing could ever get out to the mainland.
Yeah, and if it does, it's gonna die with us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So who cares, man? Who cares? Gulp, gulp, gulp.
And one of those movies. One of the things about a movie like this is that you could tell it's a great movie in your heart when you can watch it over and over again.
Yeah,
and I've seen this movie dozens of times since then. But so anyway, all that to say, thanks a lot, Lisa, for corrupting my childhood and making me a horrible person, and for loving death and destruction. And it's all your fault. Really, I take no responsibility for my actions.
I'm a victim.
I'm the victim here. But yeah, man, that's the thing, and that's I appreciate everybody. What's that?
What thing?
No, it's the thing.
Yeah, what thing?
No, but that's the thing. The thing I'm talking about, it's the thing.
The thing?
You know what? Let's just go. Let's just cue the music.
Cue music.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, an infant formula company on a mission to get a lot closer to the most superfood on the planet, breast milk. Our patented protein blend has more of the important and most abundant proteins actually found in breast milk. We're the first and only U.S.-made formula to use organic, grass-fed whole milk, not skim. We even conducted the largest clinical trial by a new infant formula company in a quarter-century, with clinically proven benefits like easier digestion, less spit-up, and softer poops versus a leading infant formula. And we make our own formula in the USA and our very own factories in Iowa, Oregon, and Pennsylvania. ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.
Oh, oh,
It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get up to a $25 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries. Our professional parts people will test your old battery for free and recommend the right battery for your vehicle. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly.